Hey everybody, welcome to something special, something unique, something that is based on this book, Oceania 2084, which is based on many things, not least including 1984 by George Orwell. And what we're doing here is a specific iteration of that. So I am joined here by my friend. We are going to be playing a version of this that is not exactly rules as written, because rules as written, there need to be at least 2 resistance players, which is what Alex will be playing, and 1 Big Brother player. That is what I will be playing. I am not the GM in this. There is no GM in this, but I am Big Brother, and in being Big Brother, I am the manifestation of authoritarianism, of autocracy, of oppression, and cruelty in this world. This is not an easy story that we're going to embark on. Not for this exercise, not for the entirety of this campaign. So, as you will probably hear me say in one way or another at the beginning of all of these videos, if that is not right for you in this moment, and you can look also at whatever notes we've put in with regard to this for potential content notices, that's okay. We have lots of other stuff you could watch here. Go ahead and check out the other stuff that we do. Come back to this if you want at a moment where this feels more like something that you want to get into. Take a break if you feel the need to take a break at any point. Everything that we do here is canonical, but not required watching. So you can jump into what we're doing at any time. You can skip what we're doing at any time. By design, we have a rotating cast. This is fairly episodic in approach. So you can jump right in, follow what's happening in the moment, and not need prior context. Now, there is always benefit, realistically, to having prior context. But if you need to skip something, my point is, if you want to keep watching past that, not only feel free to do that because your safety matters more than anything else, and by miles, it's not close, but also know that it's not going to ruin your experience with the story. You're going to be able to follow things. With all of that said, you are going to see us modeling behavior at the table that we think is very important for gameplay in general, that we think is very important for gameplay in a very serious context like this game presents. And we are doing that in a way that is deliberate, meaning we are not trying to hide that from you. There will be private conversations that don't happen on camera for the sake of the privacy of everybody involved. And that's not just here with the 2 of us. That is for this campaign in general. But we will have the conversations that we enthusiastically consent to have on camera in public, with you being able to view them in front of you, because we trust in the Magic Circle's integrity lasting past that. And more importantly, we want to show that you can play games like this safely and well together through clear communication and putting each other first. So that is what we're going to be doing. Oceania 2084 is a game about autocracy. It is not a game you can win. There is no toppling the autocracy. If you want to watch something wherein that happens, we have lots of other stuff that you could watch. I have lots of other stuff on other channels that you could watch. Even in this mode, when it comes to anti-authoritarian storytelling, you will have a better chance in other places. Here it is a bit like 10 Candles, in the sense that player characters will die with some regularity. Not may die, not can die, will die with some regularity. And it is about finding meaning and hope within the time we have, which is never guaranteed. Ultimately, this is a game about mortality as much as anything else. So if that sounds like something that you want, stick around, and we're going to be diving into that now. I am Danny Mendoza, he, him, and I will be playing Big Brother. What that means is I will be controlling everything that Big Brother controls. All conglomerate areas, because this is not 1984, it is Oceania 2084. So it is set in a somewhat semi-futuristic, semi-contemporaneous environment to that in which we live right now, wherein corporate oligarchy and techno-feudalism are the main drivers of autocracy writ large. So I will control all conglomerate areas such as high security government spaces, military, thought police locations, all four ministries that exist: Ministry of Love, Ministry of Peace, Ministry of Plenty, and the fourth one that is escaping me right now that I will note as it comes up. They all have shorter names. So Mini Pax, Mini Plenty, Mini Love, Mini Truth. How could I forget? The Ministry of Truth, which, as you can imagine, is a propaganda ministry, are all under my control. Off-limits locations. So I will be describing any locations that are resistance character here and their trusted characters, which we'll explain that as we go, want to visit and is above their class, although also outside of their class in general. So it could be below their class. We'll explain that as well. But when you build a character for this, there are proles, bureaucrats, and conglomerate officials. When we say class, that's what we mean. Introductions of new strangers. So there are different kinds of NPCs. Some of them are typically played by other resistance characters at the table. In this case, since there's only two of us, I am going to be playing those. But I am going to be playing those not as the Big Brother player. I will be putting a different hat on, essentially, and acting as another resistance character in that moment to make this work. So those are trusted characters, friends, and family. Family does not have to be literal, biological, or legal family. It can be found family of all sorts. Is a level of connection that you have to people. There are strangers beyond that. Those are the NPCs that I, as Big Brother, typically play. They are not inherently negative. They're not inherently people who are antagonistic to our resistance characters. They're people who you don't know what their nature is or how things may go. There's a lot more we'll get into as we go. I role play them, and then I also control all of the devices. As in our real world, devices are ubiquitous, and I control how they function, what they do, what the parameters are around that. Players can try to disconnect devices to not have them be surveilled. Notice I say try, right? This is very heavily weighted mechanically in favor of me on purpose to highlight that it is worth making an effort and creating meaning for ourselves anyway. With that preamble done, please take it away. Introduce yourself, name, pronouns, character, name, pronouns, and one place that we can find you.
Hi, I'm Alex Newman, he, him. I am playing David Rossi, also he, him, a bureaucrat. Alex Newman, can be found on my website, which is 7minutegm.com. That's the number 7minutegm.com.
Thank you. The bureaucrat starts at level 1, is formally considered to be a clerk level, and takes one of what is referred to as a class act. We'll explain these as we go. At level 1 bureaucracy, like bureaucrat, and level 2 bureaucrat, even though they can't access that. As those become relevant, we will dig into them. But because these videos are also a way of learning how to play these games, I'm pointing that out. Given that, and given that this is likely the first thing in this campaign that anybody ever watches, I would like for you to share a little bit about what is on your sheet. So, how old is David Rossi?
David is 41 years old.
What are the 3 descriptive traits you chose for David Rossi?
David has, I'll make sure I find them. Piercing eyes, a stern expression, and is imposing.
Okay. What is David's current work assignment?
I'm an asset reallocation officer.
And what is David's deviation?
I shouldn't say, but I grow my own vegetables at home.
so that everyone following at home knows. A deviation, for those who've played Daggerheart or other similar like tag-based systems, is written in. It's not from a pick list, and it is the first thing that happens in a game when you're preparing it to define the autocracy, something about the autocracy that you are resisting as a resistance character. By choosing this deviation of I grow vegetables at home, Alex, on behalf of David, has chosen to create an environment wherein there is something that the conglomerate doesn't like about growing vegetables at home. What that is not up to Alex or David. It's up to me. You have five trusted characters. These are NPCs that would normally be played by other resistance characters. I will play them as a resistance character rather than as Big Brother, as needed throughout the course of play. Two are family members, three are friends. Again, we will describe these things as we go and introduce them as we go. There are, so that everybody knows as we go to play, four additional sets of trackers, let's call them: trust, hope, love, and stress. We will explain how they relate to gameplay as we go. But you are beginning with 3 trust as a bureaucrat, level 1, 2 hope as a bureaucrat, level 1, and 2 love as a bureaucrat, level 1. You're also beginning with 2 stress as a bureaucrat, level 1, and that means that every time you take an act, which for those watching is the action economy of the game, you have to roll a d10 to see if you get a 1, and you do not want to get a 1. There are ways of dealing with stress, ways it can increase and decrease, we will go into as we go. There are very few times I'm going to ask you to roll other than that, actually, in this game. I'm going to be rolling a lot, and you're not going to know why. And you at home, you're also not going to know why. There are 6 core emotions on your sheet that you have assigned a stat array to, that each relate to 2 shadow emotions and that reflect where we find you this morning, David, mentally and emotionally. There are 3 corporate values and 8 personal values. Of the 3 that the conglomerate wants you to believe in, you consider 2 of them to be good and 1 to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
Of the 8 personal values, there are 4 you consider to be good and 4 that you consider to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
There is no way in the progression of this game for you to change those decisions that you just made. Your relationship to them at the level of the narrative can be whatever it is, regardless of that. You just have to find a way to make that make sense. Do you have any questions before we get into the first phase of play?
I don't.
Okay. Close your eyes and picture the city. The air here is pungent. It's suffocating. The smell is inescapable. A mix of synthetic pine cleaner they use to scrub floors, masking the underlying stench of rotting plumbing. Seems like it's been around far too long. Boiled cabbage, sour sweat of too many people living in constant anxiety and never being able to show it. It's a profoundly violent world, your world. Though the violence here, it's not omnidirectional. You hear it in the sudden distant thud of a rocket crashing somewhere in the direction of the impoverished quarters nearest to you, or the sharp, sickening crack of a jointed truncheon when a thought police member drags someone from their desk or off the street. The state is strong. The state lets you know it. And because of that violence, well, the city's always scared. You know, you see it in the posture, even, of every citizen around you. As you move about your day, people shuffle through the gray streets and fluorescent lit corridors with their heads down, terrified of making eye contact, terrified of saying the wrong thing, terrified that even a momentary flinch in front of a screen could betray their inner thoughts to the panopticon, to the ever present algorithmic eyes of Big Brother. This is the world you navigate every single day, David. As a bureaucrat, you walk these sterile halls, filing your reports, wearing the mask of absolute loyalty. Inside, you know the knife's edge you're walking. You know what you hide in the safety of your state assigned apartment. The smell of real damp earth, tiny specks of dirt, wherever they may be near your home, frantically you try to scrub them from under your fingernails so that people don't know, they can't see. You can't carry something that causes them to ask things you don't want them to ask. Because if they find out that you grow vegetables at home, that not omnidirectional, quite one directional violence will be turned entirely on you. You know that to survive, you have to disappear into the machine, serving its purposes. Welcome to Oceania. This is the morning phase. You are wherever you are. There are devices around you. Tell us what you look like, tell us what you are, and let us know what you want to do.
Something woke me a moment before the alarm did. Something outside, a crash, a gunshot. I don't really hear it anymore. I'm lying in bed. I put my hand to the side of the bed that is empty and has been empty for a while and lay there for just a moment. I know how long I can lie in bed after the alarm goes off without triggering some suspicions. Rise from the bed, make it tight so you could bounce a kopeck off of it. It's a holdover from my time in the military. I don't usually sort of notice myself in the morning. I mean, there are enough reflective surfaces around, but this morning, for whatever reason, the angle of the sun, maybe something, I am more aware of the scars on my upper body, which during the day, of course, are concealed by mid-level management attire. My hair is short, manageable, dark brown. I'm clean shaven. The morning begins with ablutions, keep myself clean shaven. And yes, washing my hands, not quite compulsively, but one step below that. In the other room of the apartment, I can hear my Uncle Otto grumbling and stirring, and I'll move into the small kitchenette and prepare something for the two of us. It is an act of service to him. It is an act of love, and I think that I will, as my first act of the morning,
Hmm.
use the family affection act to demonstrate my my connection with Otto, uh, I care deeply about. He was my father's brother.
Describe to us what Otto looks like.
Otto is squat, unkempt, balding, um, has a 3-day stubble, um, should be dressed by now, but isn't. Um, uh, he is in an undershirt and trousers that, if he goes another day or two without washing them, will probably attract attention. But for the right now, are just rumpled. Um, we work in the same building and will travel to work together, um, partially so I can keep an eye on him.
Understood. Uh, to let everybody know, family affection. You have described how your resistance character shows affection and love toward a family member. That is done. This is your first of up to 3 acts you have available in your morning phase. You are going to need to make a value test. If it fails, the interaction is observed by someone and they notice some kind of usually hidden emotion. If successful, you gain 2 love points. So, let's determine which value test you are going to take.
Respectfully, Big Brother,
Yes.
I have the ability to adjust to situations, which enables me to conceal my emotions and avoid a value test. Adapt to
Okay.
new situations. It costs me 1 hope. The act
Okay.
is never considered a thought crime, and it allows me to cancel a value test, which is what I would like to do.
That works. That will be your second act of the morning, leaving you up to 1
Yes,
left, but you absolutely can do that. You go down from 2 hope to 1 hope, so please adjust that.
yes.
You automatically succeed because you cancel the need for this value test. And you, in concealing your emotions here, are able to, through that success, gain 2 love. So lose 1 hope,
Hmm.
gain 2 love. So you're down from 2 hope to 1, up from 2 love to 4. And I need you to describe how you do that with the second act.
There's a um, gentle chiding of Otto. Um, I, while urging him and sort of putting boundaries on his behavior, um, in the form of being a good corporate citizen, um, he also understands that I am caring for him in ways that he doesn't really care for himself anymore.
Mm.
Um, but I don't have that much family left, and I'm not going to let him go down without a fight.
Yeah.
So I get him dressed, I feed him breakfast. I mean, he's perfectly capable of feeding himself, but I bring us the two breakfast.
Mhm.
And we, once I'm sure he's ready to go and we have some time, we sit in companionable silence for my third act of the morning, where I would like to wind down and remove 1 level of stress.
Okay. As you move into winding down, which will be your last act, prior to the taking of that action, 2 things are going to happen. One is a device alert is going to go off on your device, Otto's device, your personal devices, and any devices in your home all at once.
Right.
And that notice is going to be related to where you both work. It is going to let you know that there will be an audit
All
on
right.
this day. Uh, Past that, what breaks in is the morning news. And in the morning news, you see the newscasters from Consolidated Broadcasting in their usual morning notice. Today, featuring a prole. You recognize them vaguely if you don't know their name. You think that they've come by where you work before, but you're not sure why. Maybe they were delivering something. They are praising Big Brother. They are going on at great length in this moment over how much their life has changed for the better thanks to Big Brother. The security that Big Brother provides is incredibly helpful to them, is life affirming, that they would not want to live under in a world where anything other than Big Brother's embrace kept them safe. And with the main takeaway being that their life could have always been better if they had only listened to Big Brother. That their life has been getting better the harder they are working. And that everyone listening to this should work as hard as they can, as often as they can, for as long as they can, with all that they have, for the glory of Big Brother, because the glory of Big Brother is the glory of us all. That ends, and then you are able to wind down and bring yourself down by 1. Now, retroactively,
Mm-hmm.
you did take 2 actions.
I did.
Before you wind down and you take down those 2, the stress level
Mm-hmm.
to 1, from 2 to 1, I still need you to roll me a d10 twice and let me know if you have a 1 on either of those. Because you needed, every time you took an act, you needed to be rolling a.
Gotcha. Regardless of whether or not.
Yeah, any formal act at all, anything
Right.
that qualifies as an
Okay.
act in your action economy. Yeah.
An 8 and a 10 or a 0. But yeah. So
You're all good.
all good.
So yeah, no fumbles. And with that winding down, which I will ask you to describe what that winding down is like, you are done with the morning phase, and your stress has gone from 2 to 1,
Mm-hmm.
which means you do not have to roll a die on your actions as long as it does not increase.
After the morning news, we tune the monitor to one of the approved, I think, sunset channels to sit and look at and listen to the faint sound of birds. And, the food that we're eating is nutritive and acceptable and has just enough aroma to, while you are holding it sort of to your face, that it masks the worst of the stew of smells that come out of this city nonstop.
You're sharing the same food with him, correct?
Yes,
And you did say it is nutritive.
it is.
Uh, where did you get the food?
It's allotted to me. Um, it is my.
Did you
It is a
did you include?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Uh, he gets rations. I get rations. They are different rations, but the meal is for the table. Um, I put both plates down and pretend I don't notice when he takes things off of my plate.
Um, does it include anything from your vegetable garden?
No, not for breakfast.
Uh, okay. Looking here. David, do you remember when we went to the beach when you were 5, 6?
Yeah.
The
So,
sunset looked like this. It was a good day.
okay. I sort of remember. It was a while ago. Uh, but sure, it was a good day.
Did,
They're all good days.
above table, let me ask,
Hmm.
Alex. This is your uncle.
Hmm.
What happened to your parents?
My father was killed in the same war that I served in. Um, my mother was gone when I returned from service. I don't know what happened to her.
Was gone but was not vaporized.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're allowed you're
Yeah.
allowed to talk about her.
Um,
Nothing has indicated to you that you're not
nothing has
allowed to talk.
indicated to me that I'm not allowed to talk about her. Yeah.
Um, and this is your remind me your father's brother
It's
or your mother's
my
brother?
father's brother.
Father's brother. Your dad and I, we we had such dreams for you. And look at you, you have accomplished so much.
I'm,
The only
I'm
reason I get to be here is because of you.
yeah. Well, um, I'm doing. I'm right where I should be. I'm doing all right for myself and for everyone.
Looking down at the food, you've always been very generous.
To the family's very important to me. You know that. Your family. Uh, what else could I do? It's the way I was raised.
Yeah. I Are you happy, David?
I'm not unhappy.
I find my happiness in you.
I'm
I,
uh, glad. I guess. Uh,
I don't mean that as something else for you to carry. I just thought I should tell you. We should get to work.
hmm Yeah, we should be. Uh, yeah, we should make the 841.
Okay. I How do you two get to work? Meaning, do you take the official work transport? Do you take it together?
Yeah, to work we travel together. Um, there are, I think, small jitneys, like shuttles that pick us up in the garage. Um,
Okay.
uh, that take us to the complex.
And where you live, with
Hmm.
you being a bureaucrat and your uncle being a prole, and
Hmm.
the two of you living together,
Hmm.
is it in the prole quarters?
It would have to be, I think.
Okay.
Right? He can't live in the bureaucrat quarters, but I think this is at the border between the two. It's some large brutalist uh, complex that has, I think, probably apartments for both, with the
Mhm.
bureaucrats living in the upper floors The proles living on the lower levels, the larger apartments up top, also with access to things like, I don't know, a fitness room and one or two other things like that.
And
So
you've stayed in the smaller quarters, but then potentially use the fitness rooms and things like that.
um, I I think that the apartment that we are in is really intended for a married couple with children. So it is large for a prole apartment, and I am well aware that I have it only because I'm a bureaucrat.
Understood. Okay. And this is not something for today, so
Mm.
transparently above table, I'm not going to be rolling on this. But context entering this.
Mhm.
Have you ever taken Otto to any of the bureaucrat only spaces?
No, but not from a lack of desire on my part. He's just not interested. Like the bureaucrat only spaces are things like a fitness room, a, a small movie theater type space, um, and maybe some sort of approved lending library for media and books and other things. But he's just, I mean, he might potentially be interested in the last one in the library, but pretty much what that amounts to is him saying, well, I'd really like to see an action movie tonight. And then me going and getting the disc and bringing it back for us to watch together.
Understood. Uh, as a bureaucrat, you have narrative control over your trusted characters, including Otto, your
Mm-hmm.
workplace, your home, the public parole quarters where you live, the public parts of government, and the social services. As a prole, your trusted character of Otto, who's also present in the scene, has control over, if they had any trusted characters, they don't, workplace, home, public parole quarters, and impoverished places. So really the only extra thing that Otto can define that you cannot is impoverished places.
Mm-hmm.
In this situation, since I'm playing Otto, not as Big Brother, but as a resistance character, I would be able to do that. Neither of you have narrative control over upper class establishments or low security government, and none of you have control over what I have as Big Brother. With all of that said, you are now, I believe, taking as the first act in the second phase here, which is work session, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first work session, which has a max of 6 acts per player per session. You are taking, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, the social act go somewhere.
That is
Is that
correct.
correct?
Yes.
Okay, characters present of sufficient trust level may invent and or describe a new location with a security level of up to your current trust level. This is how you will be establishing your workplace. So you're down to 5 acts now for
Mm-hmm.
this, up to 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
For this. Please describe for us your workplace.
Um, my it is a factory like complex. Um,
Mhm.
the large percentage of it is dedicated to a warehouse floor. There's a receiving dock on one side where trucks come in and unload boxes. Um, those boxes are opened. It's sort of on the center in the center floor of the warehouse. Smaller boxes are removed from them, which are not opened. They're packed into other boxes, and then they go out the other side of the warehouse and are loaded onto trucks and then taken away. Um, we don't know what's in the boxes. We just keep track of how many come through. Um, Overlooking the company, the warehouse floor, is a couple of offices where the bureaucrats work, and above that are the management offices, which sort of look down on the bureaucrat offices, both metaphorically and literally.
Mhm.
Otto works on the floor as a he's a second, sorry, looking, but a level 2 prole. So sort of in charge of a work gang. He's a manager. There we go.
Right.
So he manages, which is good because I don't think he's physically capable of doing a lot of backbreaking labor.
Understood. So, you go to different parts of this place.
Mm-hmm.
He for his work, you for yours.
Yep.
Uh, you have up to 5 more acts that you can take during this morning work session. You have just arrived. So, again, since this is the first time we do it and the first time anybody does it here on the channel, I want to be very clear about this. One of the things that is listed in the book as a potential thought crime, and thought crimes are roughly whatever I say they are. But one of the ones listed here is being lazy at work. Now, there is a social act, a practical act called work, similar to wind down. Describe how your resistance character works until the current phase is over. Your work phase ends now. So you can just choose to do that, forego the other 4 acts.
Mm-hmm.
There will be no accusations of laziness possible because you just showed up and you got to work. And then we would get into 2 minutes hate, which I'll walk us through, and then we would go to lunch. Or you can use up to 5 acts that can or cannot include work. That is up to you.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I'll think they're lazy, maybe I won't. What would you like to do?
I would like to use the social act, notice someone. There is another mid-level manager who has been moved in from one of the other factories. He has been moved into one of the empty offices at the end of this hall. We don't usually have empty offices. We work 2 or 3 managers per office.
Mm-hmm.
I work 3 managers in an office. There had been 2 people in that office, but he's occupying it by himself, which is unusual. But I guess maybe they just haven't brought in the other person yet to sit at the other desk.
Okay. You described, I believe already, although you can add to this if you'd like, how your character notices this shared character in the current location. This is, you just imagined a new stranger, you described them, or you could also recall, just so people know, a stranger or a trusted character that has previously been created with notice someone. In this case, you're creating someone new. That character is now in the scene. This being a stranger, that form of shared character, I will be playing them as Big Brother. They, when you look toward them, presumably somewhere in the process of what you just described, is that accurate that you would look toward them at some point?
Yes.
They feel your gaze upon them and they look toward you. And they make eye contact with you. And their face is inscrutable. What do you do?
I will. I mean, he's obviously supposed to be there because otherwise he wouldn't be. I will. I believe that he is. I'm only a bureaucrat 1. I believe he's a bureaucrat 2 because he's in the big office. I would like to use the social act, observe behavior, to see what he's doing here. Does he look like he is only occupying half of this office in preparation to have someone else come in? Does he look like he thinks he's going to be occupying this entire office? Do I get a feeling of which area of bureaucracy um, is he in? Is he in logistics? Does he handle the trucking type of stuff, or does he, like me, oversee the unpacking and packing of the boxes? Um,
So, how do you observe in this moment? Tell me a little bit more about that.
um, I will stop. We've made eye contact. I'll stop in the door of his office um, and stick my hand out. Say, I'm David. I well welcome. If there's anything you need, I'm happy to get it for you or let you know where you can find it.
Stands up stiffly, extends a hand to you, firm handshake. Charles, good to meet another adherent to the conglomerate's ideals. You strike me as an orderly fellow. Would you say that's accurate?
Do my best.
It is a shame that I am not sharing this space with you. It seems that whoever I am meant to share it with is missing, late, perhaps on assignment somewhere else. Do you know who is meant to be here?
No, there had been two people who were staffing this office just just last week, but on Monday, Mark didn't come in, and then on Wednesday, Roberta didn't come in. Um, uh, haven't heard anything about them since. I assume they were just reassigned.
Well, the company knows best. It is good to meet you. I will let you know if there's anything that I need from you. I am charged for as long as the conglomerate requires, with the supervision of your tasks and the tasks of those lateral to you.
Mhm.
So I will be auditing that work now and for the foreseeable future, unless or until I am reassigned. Do you have any
Right.
questions for me with regard to that?
No, we were alerted that that an asset was an audit was going to be in process. I didn't know if it was my department specific audit or the general audit. It sounds like it's general audit. So whatever information I can provide to you about my portion of it, the portion of it that I handle for the conglomerate, please feel free. Uh, my office is always open, literally.
Uh, you see, without him breaking eye contact, he
Mm-hmm.
taps his wrist where there is a device
Mm-hmm.
there with a touchscreen, and you receive an alert on your mobile devices on your person, as well as an alert that seems to have gone out. You can hear buzzing, dinging, that sort of thing, around the rooms outside. That has a layout of all of the audited information requested and what you are expected to do in order to meet those requests with specified deadlines and parameters. Says, I have provided you with the information that you require. And here I'm actually going to interrupt myself and I'm going to introduce another stranger.
Mm-hmm.
And Roberta enters the room and comes in looking flustered and takes a moment to steady herself, seeing you in there, recognizing you, right? Seeing Charles in there, not recognizing him, uh, becomes briefly inscrutable, right? In spite of panting a little bit from a clear rush, and looks at you and says, "What are you doing here?"
I was speaking with the auditor. This is Charles. He's been assigned here temporarily to oversee an audit, and I was offering my assistance if he needed it.
I know. I will be one of the auditors as well.
Oh.
And I am going to say that Roberta reacts to the information you just provided with silence. You see in her face that it's not clear whether she was telling the truth a moment ago. It is possible she knew about this. It is possible she did not know about this. It is possible that she is a part of this auditing process. It is possible that she is assuming she's part of this auditing process. She realizes what she has just said in front of you, in front of Charles, in general,
Mm-hmm.
and she withdraws. You see her dissociate. She goes into her mind. She looks at you, does not even nod,
Mm-hmm.
has not made eye contact with Charles once, simply sits at her desk quietly, brings out her things, slowly, with slightly trembling hands, puts them on the table, looks forward at neither of you. What do you do?
I withdraw. I have quite a bit of work to do before the end of the day, and I think I will need all of the time that I have left to provide Charles with the information that he's asked for.
Charles calls out as you leave the room, David, I would like to see you later today as well, after you are done with your work.
I typically on Wednesdays I typically stop on my way home at the Ironworks pub for a glass, one glass of beer before I go. If it's convenient, you can join me there. If not, please name a place that is convenient for you.
Thank you. I will let you know. And that is that act completed. You are down to 4 max now in this work phase before 2 minutes hate, and we turn over to lunch. What would you like to do?
Sorry, as described, I what I meant to say was I'm going to use the work action.
I wanted to make. I
Yeah,
wanted to 100% make sure
yeah,
of that.
yeah.
I know that you were. So this is also a good thing
Mm,
to clarify. You said that in character ish, I
ah,
believe, to Charles.
mm,
So saying that to Charles and then choosing to do that, I
yeah,
will just be consistently double checking
yep.
what it is you do. Because, for example, you could make it seem like you're doing that, and
Mm-hmm.
you could do something else, right? You could do that in a way that doesn't necessarily use the work, like practical act,
Right.
etc. Or you could just use the work practical act.
No,
So I want to check in to make
yeah,
sure.
no. I will use the work practical act and
Okay.
uh,
So
close out
that
this
is a
portion of the day.
third.
Yeah, or
Perfect.
yeah.
That is a third act in this time period. You are leaving 3 more unused on the table,
Mm-hmm.
and you do this work diligently. Now, before you are able to go to lunch, we are going to enter into 2 minutes of hate. Every work session ends with 2 minutes hate session. It is a recurring part of daily life. You are going to need to make a conglomerate unity value test.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is happening here is at the level of the narrative, all devices turn on. Big Brother is there. You see Big Brother's face large in the screen. And it says to you, we have worked so long, friends, and so hard to get where we are. The times before were a crime, a travesty, a nightmare. They were unspeakable. We look toward the future. We know that tomorrow will be better than today. And the only way that tomorrow can be better than today is if we excise those who seek to drive us into the nightmare from whence we came. I present to you a traitor. Show them what we do to those who hate us. And you see the same prole from the morning news. What you need to do next is twofold. One is, given that the nature of the outcome of your test will impact the narrative layer, I recommend you roll your Conglomerate Unity value test first. We will resolve that, and then you will be able to describe your engagement in this 2-minute hate narratively. Does that sound all right?
That sounds fine to me.
So that everyone can follow what we're doing specifically, there are 3 corporate values: Conglomerate Unity, Selflessness, and Good Think. Conglomerate Unity relates to reporting any thought crimes and dissidents, and it is the specific kind of test that needs to be done for 2 minutes hate. You selected this as one of the 2 corporate values that David considers to be good. So that means that you need to roll over the emotion involved here. You have 2 emotions you can pick from: fear or anger. Would you like to pick fear or pick anger?
I would like to pick fear. My current fear is a 3.
And your anger, so that everyone knows?
Is a 5 out of 6.
So it would be very difficult. You'd only be able to roll a 6 to succeed. But with your fear being a 3, you have a 50-50 chance.
Right.
Please go ahead and roll. And since you're down to 1 stress, you don't need to roll a stress die on any of this stuff. Please go ahead and roll your D6. Let me know where it goes.
A 4.
Okay, you succeed. So because you succeeded, you lose yourself in the rage and frustration of the crowd, finding yourself screaming out your rage at the enemies of Big Brother. Does this change any of your values? Meaning, does this do anything to contradict any of what you believe you value, David? Describe to me, please, what it is like when you lose yourself successfully in rage against this prole who you recognized vaguely before on the morning news, speaking the wonders of Big Brother. And let me know of anything that relates to in your values.
So for 4 corporate values, Conglomerate Unity is one of the ones that I agree with. But on a personal value, I'm a believer in might. Might is right. And clearly, having taken this prole from this morning and having the ability, the social might to reverse his fortunes in less than 3 hours. I mean, he wouldn't be there if he wasn't guilty of something. The strength of the conglomerate comes from the rigid rightness of itself. So clearly, this person did something to break that unity. I am a big believer in we must all hang together or else we will hang separately. And that if something that disrupts the fragile social fabric is almost the worst thing you can do.
Okay. Uh, that takes you to lunch. So
I have
you
a
go ahead.
mechanical question.
Yes,
Just
please.
because I'm looking at the character sheet, there are shadow emotions. Um, Succeeded rolls add 1 point to the shadow
Yes.
emotions. I successfully rolled on uh, fear,
Fear. So that's
so
be anger or apathy. You pick
so I
one and
should
you
add.
increase it by one.
Okay, I do that. I will add 1 to my apathy score.
Okay. So that you know, that brings your apathy up to five, from
It
four to
does.
five. Um, if you were to roll fear again
Yes.
and succeed again,
Yes.
you would have to pick either anger or apathy, both of which would be a five. Regardless of which one you would go to, you would get a six.
Yes.
You would then trigger a memory,
Okay.
and that memory would be traumatic because it
Hmm.
is a six. If you had gotten it down to a one, it would be a happy memory.
Okay.
You would gain a traumatic memory associated with whichever of those emotions you are taking to that
Hmm.
amount. You would add that to that part of your sheet. It would have some kind of relationship to this moment. It does not have to be a memory of the moment when you are rolling. It could be simply associated in your mind in a way that makes sense. And your given number for that emotion would reset to three.
Okay.
So, just to keep in mind, since now you have two emotions at five,
Hmm.
that is likely to happen relatively soon.
Hmm.
Uh, lunch. You have up to 3 acts during lunch. Are you going to be having lunch there at work, or are you going to go somewhere?
I am going to have lunch at my desk. Um, nope. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm going to have lunch in the corporate cafeteria. So I don't think that really counts as going somewhere.
It does not.
Yeah.
I fully believe that that is just there. So you have three, up to three acts that you can take during lunch. What would you like to do?
Um, I would like to notice Charles and Roberta at the in
So
the. Yeah.
technically, it's one notice
Oh, right.
someone
Sorry. Yes.
for one person. Yeah.
Right.
But I
Okay.
will say, for whatever it's worth,
Yeah.
I suspected you were going to introduce one of them, and
Yeah.
I fully planned on using my reaction to introduce the other. So we can land at the same place,
Hmm.
but you would need to choose one of those to notice, unless you want to spend 2 of your 3 acts noticing them. You can do
I
that.
I do not. I will.
Okay.
I will.
So pick one, and
Hmm.
then when I feel that the time is right, I will most likely introduce the other. Because I already plan to do that, and I can do that with strangers for free. Uh, so who do you notice first?
Charles.
Okay, uh, Charles is alone,
Hmm.
sitting not in any place of special attention, just at another one of these tables, like anybody else. The most notable thing being that these tables are large enough that they tend to be shared,
Hmm.
even though sometimes the people sharing them are not socializing with each other or may not even know each other very well, simply due to how the seating arrangements are structured. The table he is at is not at the front or the back or anywhere particularly noticeable, but he is alone.
Hmm.
I will introduce Roberta now. Roberta is uh, not masking exceptionally well in the moment.
Hmm.
Roberta looks tired, shaking,
Hmm.
clearly doing everything she can to keep it together. Uh, is in line for food,
Hmm.
has not yet determined where to sit. Do you have your food already? Are you in line? Are you what is going on your
I
side?
have gone through the line and am standing beyond the cashier area with a tray full of food. I'm not seated yet. I'm sort of surveying the room, which is how I spotted Charles.
Uh, Charles looks at you and nods.
I nod back um, and walk about 80% towards him, like I'm walking in his direction. But
Mhm.
if I sort of waiting for the next social cue, like I don't know if he was acknowledging me or if he was actually asking me to sit with him, and I want to be able to play it off if I see him looking startled or hostile or anything, that I'm just gonna that I'm not I wasn't heading for his table in the first place.
That sounds like observed behavior.
Sure,
Am I right? So that is a
sure.
second act
That is my
here.
second
You
act.
know?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Uh, you get the information you're looking for, and he's open to you sitting down
Great.
if you want to.
I will sit with him.
By the time you get there and you
Mhm,
sit down, Roberta has finished going through the line and
mhm,
turns in the general direction of the room, and in so doing, sees you sit down with Charles.
mhm.
She looks in your direction, and if you look in that direction while you are sitting down, you would have the opportunity to make eye contact uh, before she looks away. Do you look in that direction?
I do. I think I was aware of her. Um,
She is going to. She is going to let out an involuntary minor scream. She sees you sit down and she uh, catches herself
mhm,
and walks in the general direction of your table that the two of you
mhm,
are seated at now, but cuts off in the way you did not. And in so doing, sits at a nearby table with a couple of other people there. I'm not going to make you do anything to pick this up. Sits there without talking to those other people
mhm,
and continuously glances in the direction, not particularly discreetly, of you and Charles throughout whatever may happen next.
mhm.
You have one act left in lunch.
I would
What
like
would you
to
like to do?
I would like to befriend Charles um,
Okay.
in a corporate friend way. That is, I would like to reiterate my offer of assistance from earlier in the morning. Um, I would like to make some general harmless observations about the best transportation routes to and from the factory, um, which of the food lines to avoid or which ones move fastest, um, but mostly leaning towards the things that I can do for him should he need them done in the in the bureaucracy, because they are my job, not because I'm
Mhm.
coloring outside the lines.
Which value would you say this is associated with, given the intent you just described?
Um, so I think this is well. I think I'm being honest, so I can use personal values, right? Or as
You can. You
in
can use any of your values
okay,
for this.
good.
This is just a value test. Yeah.
I am being honest, And so I think this is tell no lies.
I think you're right, because that is my read of your strategy
Hmm.
here. But both your Alex, but also David's
Hmm.
strategy, more to
Yeah,
the point, right?
yeah.
So that is a value you consider bad, actually. So that is a roll under emotion. And do you think you're using anger or guilt here?
I believe I'm using anger at 5. Yeah.
I believe you are too. So
Yes.
go ahead and roll me 1d6 and let me know what you come out with.
I roll a 4.
Lucky day. You succeed. Couple things happen there. First, on the mechanical side, guilt or sadness as a shadow emotion here. That goes up by 1.
And it goes up by 1. So I will
Yeah.
move my guilt from 2 to 3.
Okay. Uh, and mechanic, like at the level of the narrative, just when we
Hmm.
resolve this, please work in how your guilt increases as you succeed in befriending this person.
I I didn't know Roberta particularly well, um, but she has been here at least as long as I've been here, and she is clearly rattled by Charles' arrival and also by my offer of assistance with him. And I do feel a little bit like I should probably make the same offer to her that I made to him. Like, I
Mhm.
mean, she's clearly upset, and I think that I at least have bear some responsibility for that. So do feel a little bit guilty about that.
I You gain. I think that's perfect. You gain 1 love, so now you're up to 5 love.
All right.
Uh, Good day so far.
Yes, so far.
Uh, and now you get to note Charles as a new friend.
Oh, yes.
So you now have narrative control over Charles. They're not a stranger anymore. I
Right.
don't control them. Now, I don't control them as Big Brother. Again, as a reminder to everybody watching this, because we're playing this one on one, there is a bifurcation in my brain above table where I will play trusted characters as I did with Otto earlier, as a resistance character player, not as the Big Brother player, for the sake of what we're doing. But you now have another friend
Mm-hmm.
in the way of Charles,
Mm-hmm.
uh, whose class is bureaucrat.
Mm-hmm.
So you are able to add that to your class sheet. Um, with that, lunch is done,
Mm-hmm.
and you go back to work. You go back to work, Charles goes back to work, and you get to determine what happens with that. I'll play it out, but it's under your narrative control. And so I will be, given how we're doing this, I will be checking in with you to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that you're comfortable with what I'm doing with the character, from a resistance character player perspective.
Yes.
And Roberta also goes back to work.
Yes.
And you do notice that when Roberta goes back to work, Roberta goes and clears out her desk in that shared space and comes out to sit at a desk near yours. Not viewing yours, not like
Mm-hmm.
looming over yours, but now a desk similar to yours.
So in the B1 section as opposed to the B2 section.
Essentially, is what you
Mm-hmm.
understand it to be, yes.
All right.
Now,
Um,
when you get back to your desk,
mm-hmm.
what sort of items do you think populate your desk?
um, I think the the tools of the trade, a typewriter, some carbon paper, uh, correction liquid, an adding machine, um, ledgers, but I don't think anything. A picture of my father in uniform. I think that is the personal token that is there.
The picture of your father in uniform is at a different angle than you left it.
Hmm. All right. Um, as my first act of the afternoon, I would like to discreetly, uh, effectively search my own desk, particularly the photo, um, to ascertain whether anything is missing or has been added. Um,
Okay.
whether that's a listening device or a note or um, yeah.
Okay. You are able to do that, and so that everybody at home knows, this is a practical act called search for something. You have already described, although you're welcome to add any details you'd like, uh, how David searches their current location for something, and you've already described what it is. You're not able to search for something called notes, which we will, if they become relevant during the course of play today, explain to the audience at that point. You decide what you're searching for, which you've given us, and then roll the search die according to the types below. Very likely, possible, maybe, and improbable. If you roll a 1, you find exactly what you're there searching for. If you roll a 2 or a 3, you find something that might be converted into what you were searching for. If you roll the highest number available on a die you are rolling, something goes wrong. All other results, you did not find what you were searching for.
Mm-hmm.
Now, uh, I believe the way that this would work with just a single act is you're going to have to decide which of these die. I mean, they're assigned here, but what I mean is
Mm-hmm.
you want to find the most likely to find, the possible, the maybe, or the improbable. I would say that something like a note, not a note in the capitalized way that we were talking about, right? But a
Yes.
note like just a correspondence, right?
Right.
Written correspondence.
Piece of
Were
communication.
there? Yeah, that would go under improbable.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine. Um, as would an additional surveillance device on top of whatever you understand already is likely surveilling you constantly at work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Something else that might be less like an actual note, but indicative of communication,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like a an item being left or something
Mm-hmm.
might be under a maybe. The possible might be something that is an indication somebody came by to clean your workspace or
Mm-hmm.
something, like give you more of a sense
Mm-hmm.
of why it was moved. And the very likely would simply be the most surface level explanations for what may have happened at your desk before, like while you were at lunch.
Somebody bumped
Um,
into it and something, something, something. Right.
Correct. So you can do search for something as many times as you want, as long as your action
Mm-hmm.
economy allows.
Yep.
My question is, for this first act of this work period, wherein you are not working yet, because you're
Yes.
doing this, which of those kinds of search for some things are you doing?
So I think that I would like to try and determine whether my desk has been altered deliberately, like someone has gone through my things, or if just somebody in the office moved too quickly, knocked the picture down, set it back up again, type of thing. So
Copy.
yeah, so
So that is, at least it's very likely. I would buy a little bit of possible
possible.
in there.
I would say possible. It's
Possible? Okay.
hard to determine motive necessary. I mean, yeah,
100%.
yeah.
So please roll me a d6.
That's a six.
Okay. So what happens is, as you are looking for this information and you do not find it, um, Roberta comes around and starts swearing angrily at you. Comes up to you and is accusing you of having messed with her things because something is missing that she meant to bring over from the desk that she had been working at in the office with Charles. What do you do?
I think I would like to use. a let me take a look at the class acts for just a moment. But I think I'm going to
Sure.
use an undefined act. Um, hmm. um, so there is a trust 3, a bureaucrat level 1 act that I is not the one that I have, um,
Mhm.
which is remember things.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to remember. Alex, am trying to remember our discussion of
Mhm.
mm, players utilizing things at their level, but not the ones they are explicitly tapped into.
You just need to be able to explain how you do the component pieces of that. So if you had it available to you, if you
Mm-hmm.
had selected it or if you were to select it in the future, you would just be able to use that act for the cost of the hope associated with it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Absent that, or if you
Yeah.
have it but you don't have the hope for it, you can take actions tantamount to that, but
Mm.
you have to break it out into its component pieces. So whereas the text for remember something would allow you to specifically do X, Y, or Z in a short period of
Mm.
time, you now have to break out X, Y, or Z, and it's going to be more than one roll is basically what that comes down to. More than one thing in your action economy and potentially
Mm.
more than one value roll, because you don't roll to succeed, you just succeed.
Right.
So you can remember something, but you need to explain to me how you are remembering it, whereas that class act would simply allow you to remember it.
Then I think I would like to use an undefined act to effectively um, alibi myself, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, hopefully diffuse her to say, couldn't have possibly been me. You know, I was in the lunchroom up until the first bell sounded. Um,
Okay.
I used the bureaucrat washroom on the way back here. There were people. There were people in there. I arrived back here, and my office was already occupied. I have not set foot into your office since ever.
Okay. Uh, I'm going to say that this is going to require a value test
Mm-hmm.
related to tell no lies.
Okay.
Uh, Again, that is a roll under for you, and it is anger or guilt.
Yes.
Which do you believe that you would be using in this case?
I will use anger.
Okay. So with anger, you assert that it absolutely could not have been you. Please roll me a 1d6 and let me know what you get.
A 3.
You succeed. You are going to move guilt or sadness up by one. Which would you like to move up?
I will move. They're both 3 at the moment. I'll move sadness up by 1 because I'm really. I'm disappointed. Like she was on. She was on my team. Um,
Yeah.
right. We worked in the same department, and it's sad to see her like this, but also that we have this rift between us now.
Yeah. Absolutely. So you do that. You do succeed.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't take any additional consequences from that. And Charles comes out
Mm-hmm.
and says, "This is highly irregular." Mostly speaking to Roberta. This is highly irregular. I've overheard your inappropriate discussion. David here was with me throughout the lunch period. As you well saw, we saw you, Roberta. Why would you waste our time with lies? And Roberta is going to look at him
Mm-hmm.
and then look at you and start crying. What do you do?
Um, she came to me because I was searching my desk.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I say to her, um, I I understand that you're upset. Um, I have a tremendous amount of work to do. If uh, What are you missing?
She continues to cry.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say that to try to get information, this is going to be an act. So this would be your second one of this period. Um, if I'm tracking correctly, that's right, because you were searching for something and then this engagement with her.
This will be my second.
No,
Yeah.
this will be your
No.
third act because you did the undefined act. You did
Yes.
the search for
Right.
something, then the undefined act is your third act.
Yeah.
So this can be an observed behavior on your side to try to get this information. This can also potentially be a befriend, although a befriend during work time is a thought crime.
Right. Uh,
Um,
which is why I don't want to. I don't want to
it
show
could
her.
also be it
Yeah.
could also be an undefined thing. Like if you want to do an undefined act, we can do that and put this
Right.
against a values test also. Yeah.
Um, I don't. I don't want to show her overt kindness. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but what I do want to do is try and get this day back on the rails. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and if that means taking the time to uh, search for whatever she thinks is missing,
Mm-hmm.
like I will do that. Um,
Okay.
so I don't really don't want to do befriend. I'm not actually trying to befriend her. Um,
Sure.
I um, I try and when I'm in the office, particularly, like I try and do my job and sort of keep my head down. But I know perfectly well that I am a when I choose to be, I am a scary guy. Right? Those are all of my sort of defining physical characteristics. Um,
Sure.
and uh, we live in a scary world, um, even leaving aside sort of the violence. And I'm wondering either as an undefined act or as a sort of the other side of the coin from befriend almost, that I want to be Banquo's ghost, right? I want to
Mm-hmm.
remind her, not I don't want her to be afraid of me, but I want her to be I want to sort of personify the fact that if she doesn't get her act together, things could go very, very badly for her.
Right. That makes sense. I do think that that functions as an undefined act.
Okay,
And so the value test here is perhaps going to be might is right.
sure, because um,
Well, you described the physically imposing
yeah, yeah,
nature
yeah,
of
yeah.
David,
No, no,
and additionally, the reminder here is
yeah,
of that,
yeah.
right?
So, so I
So
need.
that is a roll over on despair or guilt. Would you like to roll against despair or guilt?
I will roll over despair, which is
Perfect. Go ahead and roll me.
only a two, so I need a three or better,
Yeah.
and I roll a five. So,
Okay. So fear or sadness goes up by one with that success.
wow, I'll put my fear up to four.
Okay. What is your array right now, about halfway through the second work period today?
Um, I'm sorry, I don't know what
For
you mean by.
emotion.
Oh,
Sorry, your emotions. Your emotions.
um, are you asking from a mechanical point of view or from a personal point of view?
Both. First,
Or
mechanics to
okay,
try to display to the folks watching
sure,
just how much your numbers have moved already,
yeah.
and
So
also how that is reflected by where your character is now versus this morning when we met them.
my anger is steady at 5.
Mhm.
Sadness has gone up, I think, 1 or 2 points. Fear has gone up a point. Guilt has
Mhm.
gone up a point. Apathy has gone up a point. Do you want the actual numbers?
Sure, yeah, if that's okay,
So
so that people know.
anger 5 out of 6. These are all out of 6. Sadness
Mhm.
4, fear 4, guilt 3, despair 2, apathy 5. And worth it to, I guess, remind the folks at home that um, high numbers are bad in this case. Um,
Yeah. Well, for the most, again, when you're
yeah.
rolling, when you need to roll under, they're helpful. When you need to
Right.
roll over, they're not. But
Yeah.
then bad in the sense where if you get it up to 6, you pick up a traumatic
Traumatic
memory, which is
memory.
obviously
That
not
yeah.
very
That's
nice.
yeah.
But they are useful traumatic memories in ways that
Right.
we'll describe once they come into play.
Yeah.
You just rolled over despair, a 5/2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brought your you had to bring fear or sadness up, and you brought fear
Sure.
up,
Up to 4.
correct?
Yes. Correct.
To 4. And you succeed. So in this moment, what you see with Roberta is that she does indeed uh, clock what you are noting. And
Mm-hmm.
while she still looks concerned, you see the professional who you have come to know much more take over. The masking is a bit more effective in this moment. And Roberta is simply now calm, steady, and says, I must have been mistaken. I am sure that I will find what I am looking for. I do not wish to waste any more of your time. And that is to both of you. And looking at the two of you to see what you will do first, you can see in her body language she wants to sit back down at her new desk and get to work. But she is, given the dynamic that just played out, waiting for the two of you to do something. Charles looks over at you.
Um, so, having invoked the specter of the conglomerate, yeah, I mean, it affected me I started angry, but I got scared. Like, um,
Yeah.
and I will, sort of clap my hands and slightly deferentially to Charles, but sort of say, all right, well, we all have a lot of work to do. Um, uh, so let's just get back to it because the work's not going to do itself.
Okay. And you are able to do that. Charles defers and says, "Good man," and goes back to his office. You see that he does look out in your direction, but more over at Roberta than at you throughout. And Roberta does not look away from her desk; just diligently works there. Now, to be clear, you've used 3 acts so
Mm-hmm.
far this work period. Are you using the work act to do your work now to
I
end the phase?
I think I better. I certainly have quite a bit to do, and while I think that Charles will give me some slack, um, I I don't want to make
Okay.
him do that.
Yeah, that would get complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we are entering 2 minutes hate
Mm-hmm.
again. This time, Big Brother takes over the fullness of all screens, interrupting your work, stopping the day. It says, thank you all for doing such diligent work for our better tomorrow. You truly are a family to me. I love all of you, every single one of you. I know you, I see you, I love you. And it is because I love you that I cannot stand by and allow the filth of this world to tear your good work down. It can be anywhere. I warn you, friends, it can be anywhere. It can be in anyone. It is insidious. It can take good people and make them fall. And here you see an image of what is clearly a conglomerate official, dressed in a manner befitting, beaten, bloodied, barely conscious. Big Brother's face back up, side by side, with this image of this barely conscious, restrained person. We found that one of those who enjoy the greatest trust from all of you to help among the people lead us into this brighter tomorrow is a traitor. They have committed treason against the conglomerate, and in so doing, friends, they have committed treason against you. They have broken your hearts, and I cannot stand for that. Tell them now what you feel. Tell them now that we will not be taken down by them. And I need you to roll your corporate value test, please, for this, which, once again, is Conglomerate Unity. So that is one of the ones that David believes is good. So it is roll over on fear or anger. Would you like to roll over fear or anger?
Wow. I have fear, but
here I will remind you, from a mechanical perspective,
yeah.
You do not have any limit on the amount of times you can use a class act.
Oh,
but
right.
you only have so much hope.
Right. Yes.
So
but I have a lot
you
of.
can spend hope if you want.
I could.
Or you could see where the dice land.
Yeah, I think let's spend that hope point to use. Keep forgetting.
And that takes you to 0 hope?
That takes me to 0 hope. To
Okay.
do adapt to new situations, which will mean that I act as never considered a thought crime, cancel a value test.
Yeah.
So
you don't need to take this value test. You just succeed. So you lose yourself, David, in the rage and frustration of the crowd, finding yourself screaming out your rage at this enemy of Big Brother. I would like for you not only to describe anything that may happen internally as you do this, with regard to your values, be they corporate or personal. I would also like for you to describe what it feels like for you to lose the last bit of hope you currently have to make this happen.
The preamble, where Big Brother framed us all as one great family, speaks to me. Family is one of my key personal values. Family first. above everything. And family, meaning both blood relations, but also chosen family, work family. And I am enraged that someone, especially someone of such trust and privilege, would just turn their back on everything that all of the rest of us are trying so hard to build, and that they presumably had worked so hard for. And how incredibly flipping selfish do you have to be? But also, it feels like my steady little sort of corporate family here has been disrupted, um, maybe irrevocably. I don't know what the hell's going on with Roberta. And while meeting Charles has been okay so far, um, I'm still like substituting one friend for another is not a win. That's that's not actually a net zero gain. That's a loss, and that's so.
As you process that, you've finished work for the day. You now enter leisure time, which has a max of 6 acts per player. Would you like to go somewhere?
Yes, I am going to the Ironworks pub as I said I would.
Is it just you? Is Otto going with you?
No, Otto is not going with me. This is not a place that Otto can go. I don't think. It's
Okay.
it is not it is not working class. It's more middle class. I mean,
Okay.
um,
Uh, Otto does not go. This is
yes.
not in the parole quarters. This is in the spaces that are more appropriate to your
Mhm.
station. Otto was not at lunch because where the proles eat at
Yeah.
work is not where you eat
Right.
at work. Um, you arrive,
Hmm.
and that is your first act. You have
Yes.
up to 5 left. I'll
Hmm.
remind you, if you choose to wind down, that will end the leisure phase,
Yes.
but it will get rid of the one remaining stress you have and take you to 0 stress.
I don't have one remaining stress.
You
I,
had 2 when you
right.
started,
Oh,
I
right.
believe.
Yes, you are correct. Yeah, and I wound down,
And
but
so
I
what it
do.
is you
Yes.
have one stress. What is confusing there is, and
Yes.
so people at home follow, you have 1 stress left. It doesn't make you roll a stress die.
Correct.
So level
Yes.
1 stress does not make you roll a stress die, but it still exists.
Right.
So you can wind down again, get rid of it completely, but that will be the end of this phase, and that will take up one of your acts.
Right.
You arrive, and you don't see Charles there yet.
Hmm.
Um, Now, I will remind you that with Charles being now a friend
Hmm.
mechanically, that is different from my perspective than a stranger.
Right.
Um, I can react as Big Brother to introduce a stranger. It is different for me to introduce a trusted character. So if you want Charles to show up, that is more in your control than in mine.
This is where I told him I would be, and I believe that after the day that we have had together, um, that doing a little bit of after hours work discussion in a social setting is is all right. So
So
I think he'll show up.
perfect. So go somewhere, your first act.
Hmm.
Notice someone, your second act. You see Charles.
Okay.
Charles sees you and nods. What would you
Hmm.
like to do?
Um, I have partially to create some space for myself. I have bought 2 drinks, and one is sitting across from me at a table already. to keep somebody else from sitting down there. So when I see him, I wave to him. We're friends, and gesture that
Yeah.
there's a pint of amber waiting for him already. So
Takes his outer coat off, flips it around his arm, comes over, takes a seat in front of the drink that you bought, picks it up, gives you a bit of a cheers with a nod, and says, "Next round can be on me," and sets to drinking.
mhm.
What would you like to do?
um, I would. I would like to pass Charles a note, I believe.
So, I do
Mhm.
think, from a
Yeah,
mechanical perspective, if we're talking about a
yeah,
big note here,
yeah, yes. Note, capital
I
N.
I do think you actually have to take an action to make the note
Okay.
first.
All right.
But what we can do, especially since this is the
Yeah.
first time that we play this, is uh, you don't have the action economy left in a prior phase, and it would be
Yeah.
harder to retcon that.
Yeah.
So it's a different risk, obviously, to be doing it here, but
Hmm.
you can theoretically take out a piece of paper and a pen or what have you, assuming that this is a physical note and not a
Hmm.
digital note. And you can take an action to write a note
Oh
before he arrives.
no, I'll do the text message
Okay.
action
Uh,
to create a digital note.
okay. Describe how your resistance character sends someone a short text message up to 20 words, which you can send here at the table. That's fine. You
Mhm.
can do it right
Yeah.
in the
Right.
moment that
Perfect.
we're at.
Perfectly
Uh,
noticeable. Right.
yeah, can be done at any time and is unaffected by work. The content of the message might be a potential thought crime. So, uh, which by the way does mean, I believe, my read on that for future purposes, that you could send it during work, and it's not necessarily a problem to send it during work. That's going to depend a little bit more on what the contents are, right?
Hmm.
But you're not at work now; you're at leisure time. What are the up to 20 words you send?
Um, they are. Um, I am concerned about Roberta's outburst earlier today. I do not. I don't know if she can still be a productive worker.
I'm not rolling. That receives a reply
Hmm.
via text in the this Unoverse application that you're using,
Hmm.
uh, saying you are astute. Would you like to enter the Universe fully to have this conversation?
Um, are Charles and I sitting next to each other on our devices? Is that what's
Across,
going?
in my
I mean,
mind palace, it was a little bit more like across from each other, but
yeah,
yes, yes, yeah,
yeah. I mean that. So at the same table. Um,
sure.
uh, sure. Yeah. Uh, I will. So I will take a universe, an Unoverse meeting, um,
Okay,
which is another would be a separate action.
that would be your fourth
Fourth
action
action.
of
Yep.
six here.
Yep.
So you can describe how your resistance character meets someone else through the universe. In this case, yeah, obviously you're planning to do
Yeah.
it, but that's fine. Uh, it's not done during work, just so everybody at home knows. If done during work, any communication outside of work topics are considered a +2 thought crime. But that's not applicable here because you're
Right.
in leisure time. So,
Yes.
what I will say on my end, if this works okay for you, is the universe can be whatever we want it to be, our version of that. It can be
Mm-hmm.
anything between social media and what they were trying to sell us in the real world as the metaverse, right? So, Second Life sorts of things. If you're going to go into a meeting space here, and there is room for a little bit of science fiction in our
Mm-hmm.
story, right? From like a story genre perspective, you can connect into this however you would like. As this is your move, not mine, it is not
Mm-hmm.
my narrative control, it is yours, even though the universe is largely something the conglomerate has made. So
Right.
please feel free to describe how you connect to the universe.
Um, I put in my actual earbuds to because the open speakers in my corporate glasses can potentially be overheard. So
Mhm.
this is a little bit more private. The glasses go opaque, and Charles and I are seated opposite each other's avatar in a private chat room, effectively, although we can actually
Mhm.
speak uh, sotto voce. I mean, I think sort of, bone conduction, um,
Yeah,
speak at a subaudible level, but be heard in the chat room.
absolutely. Uh, how does this chat room look for you? Because my take on the universe here from a Big Brother perspective is it is highly customizable. There are likely, probably, connected, I mean, definitely accessible via class, right, to
Mm-hmm.
some degree. But as two bureaucrats, you have access to the same options, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, in terms of aesthetics, what does this meeting room look like? What do your avatars look like? How photorealistic versus cartoonish, right, or
Mm-hmm.
polygonal are
Mm-hmm.
they? What are we looking at here?
So I don't care for the universe, and I don't care for the virtual interaction. Um, and I consider the people who invest either a lot of time, resources, or money on sort of the fripperies of it. It is literally not real. So I have the most basic, like, blocky stick figure in a it's like the money for nothing video, um,
Sure. Yeah.
except sort of pasted to where my face is my corporate ID, which probably doesn't even animate when I'm speaking. Um, Charles avatar, on the other hand,
Mhm.
sitting in this block
Mhm.
Lego chair, is probably fairly photorealistic, 3D full 3D shading and rendering, and looks like him. Um, you know, there's a unseen breeze sort of gently ruffling at his hair at all times,
Yeah.
and
He does also look like his corporate photo, though, I
yeah,
think, right?
but well,
I'm saying that not as Big
yeah,
Brother, but as the
yeah,
Resistance player character
yeah,
version. I think it's the same idea
yeah,
that you have with your corporate photo there, but where yours like may not even move, or at
right,
most we're looking at like the South Park thing where it goes like
right, yeah,
right. It we're with Charles. The photorealistic version is as though his corporate photo had come to life,
right, yeah.
right?
It's one of those apps where Thomas Jefferson can sing "Happy Birthday" to you, right? I mean,
Right.
does that,
Correct, and then turns into a Bengal tiger or
right,
something, right?
something, right, yeah,
Yeah. So you're in there, and you are able to talk in this universe meeting. And Charles says, "I see a lot of potential in you already, David. I believe you have the right stuff to get ahead and contribute more to the conglomerate's goals. I believe you have a good sense of what the conglomerate's ideals are and what is expected of us with the responsibility incumbent upon us due to our station, you know what you need to do. What I don't know, David,
Hmm.
is how your constitution may stand up to what is required with more responsibility.
Um, I have never had any problem with doing what is necessary and needful. Um, I assume you've seen my personnel file.
And I am grateful for your service. I myself served as well. Roberta served as well, and with commendation.
I
That is, yes.
I believe I remember her mentioning something like that.
Hmm. Interesting. People change. We
They do.
are who we are today. Who we were yesterday no longer exists, and we are building who we will be tomorrow.
Mhm.
I would like to see you, David, build a tomorrow for yourself that is better than today. It is
If
important not, yes.
doing that aligns with my or expands my current duties and obligations, then
Mhm.
so be it. I believe that um, the reward comes after the work, and that you don't do the work to chase the reward.
The reward is more responsibility. If more people would understand that, the world would be a better place. That is why folks like you and me are the ones who need to be making these decisions. And there are very many people out there who simply do not have the capacity to make these decisions alongside us. It would be unfair to burden them with such responsibility for which they are not equipped. Do you not agree?
I do agree. I do agree. Um, some some people are foot soldiers, some people are NCOs, and some people are generals.
And all are necessary. All are a
Absolutely.
part of the conglomerate family. But it is important that we not put the wrong piece in the wrong place, and the whole machine falls down.
Yeah, I, I agree.
Now,
That
I would like to know what you believe should be done with Roberta based on what you saw today.
I'm a big believer in second chances, but I also feel like today Roberta went through her second chance. Um, I think that it is possible that the amount of responsibility that she has on her shoulders is more than she can bear, and reducing that responsibility, even temporarily, would be ultimately good for her.
I agree. A demotion is the most kind and merciful option that I see as well. And I am heartened to hear you say that, as it would be a shame for someone of your talents, experience, and demeanor to drown with someone else for the sake of
Sentimentality?
what they used to call empathy.
Oh,
It is a mistake. It is a sin. There is no room for the weakness of that when we are building a better tomorrow.
I am a big believer in supporting what we used to call my unit. I guess we still call it my unit at the factory. Um, and up until this morning, I would have put Roberta inside that unit, and I would have gone to great lengths to protect her or help her. But I believe that she, by her actions, by her multiple actions, her tardiness, her lack of demeanor, her insubordination to you, put herself outside the unit.
Selflessness is so good to see. And you're right. Family first. But we cannot drown with people who make themselves no longer family. And perhaps with the rehabilitation of demotion, Roberta could find her way back to us again.
Look, I would welcome her back with open arms if she had proven herself to be uh, worthy.
So, with this meeting having taken place, I do believe that inside of that,
Mm-hmm.
there is another action in what we just did.
All right.
Now, my question to you is, I will give you some options. You can tell me it's something else. This is your
Mm-hmm.
decision, not mine.
Right.
Are you deepening a connection? Are you using an undefined act that will require a values test in relation to what you just navigated?
Mm.
Um, or are you doing something else?
No, I think using the deep connection act for that conversation is a good call.
Okay. So you don't need to describe, although you can add anything to it that you'd like. We just played it out.
Yeah.
How your resistance character engaged in a deep, vulnerable, and heartfelt conversation. To be clear above table again, because I know it's a little bit confusing
Mm.
because it's me
Yeah.
doing it. That was not with Big Brother. That was with a trusted character. In a different environment, that would have been with another resistance player character, and I, as Big Brother, would have simply been watching. Um, the table collectively decides whether the heartfelt nature of this is true or not. So my question to you is, did David mean everything he said?
Yes. Yeah. I think. Yeah. All of those statements seem to line up with David's values. Um,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
And it is okay if there is complexity to that,
Sure.
meaning
Well, I mean,
there
this
can be
was.
layers to that, but
Mhm.
overarchingly, this is what David actually believes.
Right. Um, but I am conflicted about Roberta. Right. I did feel guilty about this. I did feel sad about this.
Yeah.
But yeah, she put herself outside the family, and but I have faith that she can get herself back. So yeah.
Absolutely. Uh, with that,
Mm-hmm.
whether or not it was true, by the way, I'm pretty sure
Mm-hmm.
this would happen. This was done with a trusted character, so
Mm-hmm.
you gain one hope.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing I ask that you describe before this Uno meeting ends, and then you still have up to two acts left in
Mm-hmm.
this leisure time if you want. The last thing I would ask is that you describe to me, to
Mm-hmm.
the people, what it is about this interaction that gives David hope.
Hope is not always kind. It is not always unalloyed. Um, I I I don't actually, I mean, despite the fact that David is a trusted friend, capital T, I don't actually trust him. Um, but I think he trusts me as
Mhm.
as much as anyone does. And I believe that, especially in this conversation, I was able to take his something of his measure, um,
Mhm.
that if that will enable me to manipulate him or use him as I need to, either through kindness or through guile. Um, he 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 made a mistake in our first meeting, um, which is all recorded. Not in this meeting, but
Mhm.
now having those two halves, it gives me some hope that that if I need to, if it turns out that he is in fact a tool of the conglomerate, that I can turn that tool to my advantage. And if it turns out that he's not, well then then that would be the best of all possible worlds, and that's partially where the hope comes from.
I love that. And here I remind you above table and the audience
Mm-hmm.
watching introduce this idea formally. Trusted characters are characters that you, Alex, may play in the future. So
Mm-hmm.
even though Charles didn't exist before we played today, and was not a trusted character before you effectively befriended him, and would not have been one if you had not, and if you were to lose that status of friendship and it were to revert to strangers in ways that we can go over when that comes up, if that comes up, um, would not be available to you in this way again. But if David dies,
Mm-hmm.
you can play as Charles, and that will mean that you will create a full character build the way that you have for David for that, including a deviation.
Mm-hmm.
That means that Charles, right now, you don't know what it is, I don't know what it is, we haven't established what it is, has a deviation like David's growing of his vegetables at home, whatever Charles's version of that is. Roberta, who you could have befriended but chose not to,
Mm-hmm.
could have also gone the same way. That means Roberta has a deviation too. It means that every stranger, every person you ever meet as any of these characters has a deviation. Every single one in the entire conglomerate. Because they have the capacity to be you.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, they have the capacity to absolutely be in the conglomerate's control. And I want to be very, very clear about this. You are all, David included, instruments of the conglomerate. This is the soup from whence we all come. And the work, if there is work to be done by the resistance characters, in the face of that, to do anything other than simply comply, is the work of moving away from that soup. You have up to two acts left in
Mm-hmm.
this leisure phase. You do not have to stay in the universe. You also don't have to take an act to get out of it, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you can just
Right.
basically like
Right.
stop the conversation, be back at drinking physically. You can continue to engage with Charles. You don't need to continue to engage with Charles. You could go somewhere else. You could stay here. You can wind down and get rid of that last bit of stress that you have on
Mm-hmm.
you right now. What would you
Uh,
like to do?
uh, I I believe the way this is structured is that I need to save at least one act to get home, right? To go somewhere.
Would well, that is a good question because pulling up here the statement, sleep phase is interrogations, promotions, and demotions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I believe that this is how I interpret it. Since leisure ends the phase,
Mm-hmm.
like since wind down ends the phase for leisure, lunch, or morning, or anywhere that you use it. If
Mm-hmm.
you use it in work, it also ends the phase. Um, I believe that the returning home to sleep phase is perhaps implicit, but I
Mm-hmm.
will say the clearest way to articulate this would be if we want to be very careful about this. You would now need to take the go somewhere act to get home.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you are home, you're still in leisure. you could still wind down.
I
But if
will
you wind
say,
down prior to that, it doesn't necessarily get you home. Go ahead.
right. I will say that I believe that the now looking at it again, the go somewhere act is analogous to the notice someone act. That go somewhere
Yes.
explicitly brings something into existence. Um,
Right. So since it
some
already
yeah,
exists, you might
specifically
not. Yeah.
specifically a new location. So
Right.
since I right, so I yes, in
Y-
this case, there's a difference between sort of traveling and going somewhere.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you can. I think you can probably just go home
Hmm.
without taking an act to go home.
Yeah.
But I will say again, I leave this a little bit more to the feeling at the table because I don't have the clearest answer on my end. Where if it feels like that's a little bit of cheating, then spend the go something
Yeah.
to go there. But if it doesn't, I'm fine with you
Yeah.
having one more act on top of that in aggregate. You know what I mean? Like
Right. Yeah.
that's okay with me.
No, I will I will go home either as a free action or not. Um,
Hmm.
uh, Otto, I assume, made made it home. I have no reason to think that he wouldn't. Um,
I mean, I will say if you want to make sure he does, and if we are
yeah.
treating that as you might want to notice someone.
Um, how about this? I will argue
Hmm.
again. Notice someone. Oh, notice is a shared character in their current location, right?
Yeah.
Or create someone new. All right. Then it's not uh, it's not part of the plot that I'm not planning on doing anything with Otto, so
Mhm.
he's home, or not, but it doesn't really matter. I will
Sure.
go. I will relax and yeah, I'll do the wind down um, and remove that last point of stress.
And you've made it to the end of your first day.
Hmm.
We're entering the sleep phase where interrogations occur, where you get promoted or demoted. Your
Hmm.
trust level is still 3. You do not currently have an opportunity for promotion or demotion, but
Hmm.
you receive a message as you're winding down, getting
Hmm.
ready to fall asleep on your devices. You get recognition. You are recommended by a superior to get promoted, and you have +1 trust point. So, the decision here is Charles has recommended you for promotion.
Hmm.
You can take that +1 trust point and you can gain a class act at level 1 bureaucrat and
Hmm.
stay at 3 trust. Or you can go up to 4 trust and become a level 2 bureaucrat and unlock your ability to use your level 2 bureaucrat class act that you already have from character creation, and you
Hmm.
will continue to be able to use the class act from level 1 bureaucrat.
Let me take a look at the various abilities. I it's very I I'm torn. I'm going to talk this out just because we have an
Sure.
audience. So I'm
Yeah.
torn. Given David's relationship with food and growing things, there's a level 1 ability called Poison Someone, which seems a little on the nose.
Mhm.
Uh, the game as we have played it thus far, that seems very uh, out of this universe in some ways. Um,
Right, but could you imagine what it would take to use it?
right. Um,
Yeah.
uh, so considering it,
Mhm.
where are the other? I have the both. I have the class sheet up, but I'm grabbing the book to look at the some of the full
Yeah, go
descriptions,
for it.
the full descriptions of them.
Yeah.
Uh, right. I mean, and there are of course a bunch of explicitly resistance oriented, right, forged documents, that sort of thing, which
Hmm.
might be. Um, but given the way I am going, I think.
Hmm.
Um, oh, there's also rapid note taking. But I think that David is going to take. Um, it's going to stay at level at trust 3 and take
Hmm.
gain personal information about higher ups.
Love that. I think that's a great choice. I will say also, in terms of context for the audience at home, as much as
Mm-hmm.
you, uh, once you go up to 4, you cannot take any that are available at 3. So once you go up to bureaucrat 2, and instead of 1, once you become an officer instead of a clerk, you can't take the clerk ones again. You can still access the ones you have, but you
Mm-hmm.
won't be able to select from them.
Right.
So anything that you want to take now, it would
You're
make
just
sense to take
going to
now at this level
build
rather
up a
than
little bit. Yeah.
otherwise you would need to be demoted to be able to access picking from this again, and being
Right.
demoted is actually quite a bit harder than being promoted,
Mm-hmm.
functionally. So I think that's great. Please add that to your sheet. As a
Mm-hmm.
reminder, after we're done with this session, please send me your updated sheet,
I will.
maybe renamed to say like after session 1 or what have you,
Sure.
for tracking purposes. Above table,
Mm-hmm.
because at the level of the fiction, David accepts, I imagine, the support of this recommendation without actually having a promotion at work. But this does expand what David is trusted with at work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Giving David access to more things that allows for this new class act to be available.
Echo
Uh,
stop.
um, the other thing that happens during this sleep phase
Mm-hmm.
is not that David is taken for interrogation. David had a good day.
Mm-hmm.
No interrogation here
Yep.
for David.
Right.
Unbeknownst to David at
Mm-hmm.
this time,
Mm-hmm.
Roberta is taken for interrogation. And we may or may not see the outcome of that the next day.
Right. She's not one of my trusted characters, so I have no reason to. I get no uh, meta knowledge of her. I will find out when we resume what happens to her.
Yeah. And that's it for our first session. Thank you very much, Alex. We are going to engage in the de-rolling process now, if that
Mm-hmm.
is okay.
Sure.
Would you like to take a break before we do that?
No, I think I'm all right. Thank you for checking.
Okay, of course. So the de-rolling process, post-game debrief, is in chapter 8 of the book, in case you want to look at it yourself, and also for anybody at home who might have the text. That is page 137. And it includes guidelines, questions to help you getting out of character, opportunities to share your feelings, sharing good memories, and being able to write a note. And this is built in and made very important, highlighted as very important by the creator of the game, because of the heavy nature of what it is that we're doing here. And to the degree that everyone at the table is enthusiastically consenting to and comfortable with doing this on camera in a way that we're able to share with the audience the reason you're seeing this now and we haven't just cut away is because we want to model how this functions at the table. This is a part of the gameplay as everything else. So this is something that you will potentially see us do at the end of every session. First up, if any of these steps in any of these steps, anyone can opt out of answering. Nobody's obligated to participate. So both of us will be engaged in this because I'm a player at the table too. I'm not the GM. There are no GMs. GMs are players at the table in general. But in this case, I'm not even that. I'm just the big brother player and also did a bit of work as a resistance character player today. We cut to the emotional chase rather than avoid simply retelling the game. Debriefing is intended to process the emotional content. So we don't have to just recap what we just went through. We just get at the heart of what we're getting at with these prompts, focusing on emotions and avoiding making assumptions about other people and making sure everyone gets the chance to speak for roughly the same amount of time. So this formal process will be less of a back and forth than a lot of the informal de-rolling that we do after we stop recording, maybe. Which for those of you watching, we do something called Stars, Sparkles, and Wishes, and we will do that after we stop recording. But that's private for the people at the table. Here, we'll be following these prompts, knowing that that no is a complete sentence and you can say it at any time without having to provide any explanation for why. Are you ready to proceed with the steps of de-rolling?
Yeah, sure. How about you?
Thank you for asking, and I very much am. And I really appreciate you asking that. Thank you for that. Okay, so we begin transitioning out of the magic circle into our real life selves by asking each other some questions. You choose 1 to 2 questions from this list of questions that are on the next page. Start by reflecting on your character's experiences and emotions during the game, and then take turns asking each other questions to help separate yourselves from the characters. So, would you like to ask the first of these questions? Let's say we ask for this one 2 questions to each other, just as the first session. Though if you only want to ask one, that's also fine. Would you like to go first in asking me, or would you like for me to ask you?
Why don't you ask me one? It's a coin flip, but yeah.
Sure. What is something that about your character that you admire and would like to take with you?
David is very very loyal to his pack, and that's I mean I think he partially is because I am, but it's hard sometimes, and that's a quality I'd like to take with me.
I love that. Would you like for me to do the second question to you, or would you prefer to alternate?
No, I'll alternate. Uh, Thinking about the setting and the society that I'm not sure. Do you want to answer these as Charles or as Big Brother?
I am going to do my best to navigate that because I need to do this as Big Brother also. So meaning I'm going to have to find a way to navigate that, and I will probably in this case find a way to try to answer it both ways. Meaning I'm going to give it from both perspectives.
So I'm going to, given that this game in many ways holds up a dark mirror to our own cultural and social context, in what ways does our own cultural and social context differ from the game setting?
Interesting. In what ways does it differ? Everything's a little bit less muddy, I think, is probably my best answer in the sense of we are here telling a story. We are not capable of constructing a verisimilitude that absolutely mirrors reality. We're choosing where to put the spotlight, the
Mm-hmm.
focus. The Speaking from my background a little bit as somebody who works in film and television, it's what you choose to put in the frame,
Mm-hmm.
right, for the shot.
Yeah.
There's always stuff outside the frame. You can't have an objective frame because by virtue of pointing the camera this way and not that way, you've already made a choice. That's already
Yeah.
subjective, right? So in order to communicate effectively with the limitations of my brain, right,
Mm-hmm.
of just knowledge and of language, I've made some things in my representation as the Big Brother player a little bit clearer in function, a little bit more manageable at the level of story, so that we
Mm-hmm.
can get through the actual process of telling this story and moving from one moment to the next, because every moment in reality actually has infinite variables
Sure. Of
applying to it at all times. And
course.
I am incapable of properly simulating that. So I think that's honestly I don't mean that as a cop out, but I think that's
Yeah.
honestly the biggest difference between our reality
Sure.
and the reality of the game, because our reality is not terribly dissimilar to the reality of the game. The reality of the game is more overt in its presentation, depending on where people are when they're watching this, right? Because it
Mm-hmm.
varies. Mileage varies depending on where you live and what your personal circumstances are. But nothing that I did as Big Brother is outside of the scope of things that have happened in real human history. None of it is outside of the scope of things that I would argue are happening somewhere right now,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, so I'm not sure that there are a lot of differences beyond that. I mean, the metaversal technology works better. How about that? Like
Yeah. Right.
in the world we constructed, it's more
Yeah.
like actually functional than in
Sure.
the real world we inhabit.
Sure.
Um, yeah, that's my best answer.
Okay.
What about something about your character that you dislike that you'd like to leave behind?
Um. Uh. I'm actually there were two actually. Uh. And I think one of them is because it's something that I struggle is probably too strong a word, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, David's willingness to use his um, size and physical presence to shut down um, a situation where an empathic, supportive response would have been the more human thing to do um, is sort of loathsome to me.
Yeah.
Um, uh, but also, and I think some of this is because I haven't yet. I'm still, David's still sort of inchoate. Um, he's manipulative, right? And his despite the fact that he comes across as sort of morally rigid, like his morality is very situational, and
Mm-hmm.
would like I would like to think that that I am who I am in the dark and in the
Mm-hmm.
light, and
Yeah.
I certainly don't feel that way about David.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
That makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
Did you want to ask me a second question before we move to the next phase?
Sure. Uh, think about one thing that you are looking forward to doing outside of this game. What is it?
Seeing my daughter.
There we
It's the
go.
best answer I've got every day of the week. After we finish playing this,
Yeah,
right? And it is important to note we are playing this,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like I think for the people at home and for us, right? Like, because this is very serious stuff that we're taking into, and it is a
Mhm.
serious game.
Yes.
It is play, and there's nothing diminishing about it being play. I think that as a radical act of hope in playing this game, highlighting that it's play
Hmm.
matters a lot. So I will say, as a bit of a cheat of a secondary answer, I look forward to playing this game again because I want to experience more hope through it in finding more ways to reckon with the horrors it presents. Even as the Big Brother player, I
Hmm.
want to experience it through what happens at the table. Because as the Big Brother player, outside the context of the version that you and I are playing, where I'm also a bit of a resistance character player,
Right.
I could maybe experience a bit of hope as a resistance character player.
Sure.
Um, but as Big Brother, which is the majority of my responsibility across this campaign,
Hmm.
I will not be experiencing much hope
Right.
in the play of this game
Hmm.
directly,
Right. Sure.
but I can experience it vicariously.
Yes.
So I look forward to that. And what I said about my daughter,
Yeah.
she's the best. Um,
Great.
uh, share our feelings. We've de-rolled. Got a discussion about our emotional reactions to the game. Uh, how we felt during different parts. This does not have to be exhaustive. It can be brief, right?
Hmm.
Just what and doesn't need to be a source of pressure. Again, if you don't want to answer it, you don't have to.
Hmm.
But burning desire. Does anybody have something they immediately want to get off their chest? For example, I really need to talk about my sister's death scene. Can I go first? And or most intense moment, which would come after that. Do you have
Yeah.
any interest in do you have a burning desire to get anything off your chest? And it's okay if
No.
the answer is no.
No.
Okay. I also do not.
Yeah.
Most intense moment. I would love to know, and I can go first if you want, or you
Hmm.
can. There's just two of us, otherwise we'd
Right.
just be going in a
Yeah.
clockwise
But,
formation. Most intense moment of this session for each of us can feature any sort of emotion, happy, sad, or otherwise. If you have more than one moment to share, we could choose to do another round if the group wishes, but it should be one at a time
sure.
for this first one. So, would you like to go first? Would you like for me to go first?
I'd be happy to.
Go for
One
it.
of the, I think the first one that comes to mind is Roberta turning around in the lunchroom, seeing me and Charles, and letting out that involuntary noise, gasp, some muffled shriek. Um, it was intense because it was ambiguous. Like she had a very strong reaction to something, um, but the fact that it was not, I mean, and all of those things sort of went through my head, right, and including, um, fuck, am I in trouble? Like, am I
Yeah.
right? Because I'm only a
Yeah.
bureaucrat. I'm only a bureaucrat one, sitting having lunch with a bureaucrat two. Like, is this
Yeah.
how bad is this?
Yeah.
Um, and then her coming towards us and me thinking, like, I mean, you feel that tension as she approaches, wondering whether I should invite her into the circle, and now in retrospect, like how the last part of the game would have gone differently if I
Yeah.
had. Um, so
Yeah. Not just the last part,
yeah,
realistically, right? Like the variables change. It's a three body problem, right?
right,
You
yeah,
had two bodies orbiting each other
hmm,
socially.
yeah,
You throw a third one in there, the variables involved grow exponentially,
yeah,
right? So would have been highly. It was one of the most important moments of the game for David in
mm,
this day, whether to engage another way
yeah,
or not, or simply let that moment pass. I'll say for my part, I think I want to highlight how you handled Roberta crying
hmm,
earlier in that, because I knew, Danny knew, like I above
hmm,
table knew. This was a very precarious situation that I, as Big Brother, was utilizing a stranger to set up
hmm,
for David. not simply because there was a lot of room for David to get in trouble, but because there was a lot of room for moral quandaries and what I think both of us above table might consider to be a sort of moral decay to occur.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Like you're watching somebody mess themselves up badly. And if you try to help them, you could get caught in the rip current and pulled under with them, right?
Yeah.
Um, and if you don't, you have to live with the fact that you didn't,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Uh, that felt very tense for me above table
Yeah.
because it was an exploration of how safe does this feel? We're
Mm-hmm.
playing in a very important, I would argue, and very difficult area with those kinds of interactions.
Mm-hmm.
And for what it's worth, I loved how you handled that. I thought
Yeah.
it was very good for the story. Um, uh,
I
do
mean, I
you
think
want to do
it.
another round? Oh, go ahead. Go. What
Well,
were
I
you
was
going
going
to
to
say?
say. I mean, how I handled it. I mean, leans very much um, into David's unspoken background, and
Right.
um, so it felt very as distasteful as I personally found it. It felt very
Mhm.
natural for him to handle it that way, and then also um, to react by to to having been so scary that I scared myself,
Mhm.
um, because David doesn't really think about how bad the world is a lot of the time. Right? He has
Yeah.
his box. He has his box, and that sort of channeling the um, anonymous hatred and the insolubility of the universe that we, Roberta and I, live in, and letting that sort of pour through me so that she could see how big that chasm and how close it was. Like you can't do that without being aware of it yourself. And that
Yeah.
was yeah, challenging. So
Yeah, I can
yeah.
imagine. I thought you handled it very well. Uh, do you want to share another round of intense moments, or are you good to move to step 3 for sharing good memories?
I'm good to move to. No, I'm gonna take. I actually would like to take a moment,
Yeah.
the and acknowledge the virtual conversation between Charles and David
Yeah.
is. I mean, is very much both a like a knife fight almost, or
Hmm.
like, is this going to be a knife fight? Um,
Yeah.
uh, and also for me, uh, like there's a decision there. Like, okay, there's a bus coming. Um, am I going to help Roberta get on it, or am I going to throw her under it? And
Yeah.
I, I wasn't 100% certain what I was going to do up until it came out of my mouth.
I feel like I could see that, and I
Yeah,
loved that. I loved getting to play that. I love to play to find out in general.
yeah,
I loved being able to be locked into that with you, fully trusting
mm-hmm.
on my side of things that we could play to find out and find our way where we needed to be. That was almost the example. I'm glad you brought it up
Yeah,
because that was almost the example that I gave for the intense moment a moment ago. But I
mm,
wanted to choose an intense moment that was more fully focused on you, right, to be
mm,
able to talk about.
mm-hmm.
Whereas this one was more about our interplay. It was focused on
Right.
you and on me. But I thought that was also incredibly intense. I'm going to be thinking about
Yeah,
that for a long time. Um, are we okay to share good memories?
sure. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So share your favorite memories or moments from the game. These positive memories do not have to be happy memories for your characters. It's your personal experience that's in the focus. Reminisce about enjoyable interactions, memorable scenes, or successful outcomes. Allow everyone to take turns sharing positive experiences and listen attentively to each other's stories. So, example questions, these are not exhaustive, these are just illustrative. What was your favorite moment from the game and why? Was there a particular scene or interaction that stood out to you as especially fun or memorable? What are you proud of accomplishing during the game? I would love it if we could each share one if you feel up to it, but no is a complete sentence. So if you don't want to, that's okay.
Mhm. I took the lead last time. Do you want to start us off?
Sure. I will say, and this really highlights how this is not a good memory.
No.
I felt like I was able to pretty effectively use 2 minutes hate. Like with the little bit of fully improvised. I didn't do any prior prep on it, right? Fully improvised monologuing on those 2 minutes hate. Um, Felt like I was able to be responsive, is the part that I want to highlight there, to what was happening in the story, right? It felt like in parallel, and this is a little bit of inside baseball, but I
Mhm.
don't think it hurts anybody to hear it, especially since we're encouraging people at home to pick up this game if they want.
Right.
I didn't know it was going to be the prole from the morning announcement. The morning announcement is a D8 on my side.
Okay.
I rolled that and
Yeah.
it said there was a prole there, so I put a prole there.
Right.
And then I during the morning news, when I went into the 2 minutes hate, I realized pretty much as I was saying it that it was going to be that prole
Yep.
in the first one. And then in the second one, with everything that was going on with Roberta,
Hmm.
I decided not a bureaucrat, but a conglomerate official, even more, was going
Hmm.
to be that one. And I found my way into it through what we were building together.
Hmm.
And I am glad I did that.
Hmm.
And I want to do as much of that as I can do, being in the moment in the game with the people that I'm there with, rather than relying on something I prepared ahead of time.
Hmm.
Um, so I think that goes into the what are you proud of accomplishing during the game,
Sure.
but specifically from that perspective, right? Like I'm glad I was able to be present and
Sure.
reactive.
Um, so on a me level, um, the the moment we sort of passed the baton from the prologue about the city, you,
Mm-hmm.
to David waking up in his apartment and me taking over the narrative, there was a very visceral, like the plane taking off. Like, here we
Mm-hmm.
go. I was going to say the hill of the roller coaster, but it really wasn't the hill of the roller coaster. It was, but the journey begins. Here we go. Um, and similarly, like, I mean, I hadn't really thought about, because I didn't know sort of what our physical setting was going to be. Hadn't thought about what David's apartments looked like, or even whether he lived with one of his relatives, or anything like that. And feeling that stuff come together, um, almost as memories and not as improvisations, feeling very natural, and hearing myself saying things and thinking, there's a story there, and I'm curious as to what it is. Um, was really, and knowing that there wasn't a wrong thing for me to say here,
Mm-hmm.
um, was was good. Was very, um, going into knowing that I was going into this universe of, betrayal and uncertainty and hate and, all of the bad things, um, but feeling as a character, but feeling as a player very very safe, very very respected,
Mm-hmm.
very 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 curated, very cared for. Um, was, I think, probably, was a great was a great way to start off the gaming experience.
I'm
So
really glad to hear that.
yeah,
That means a lot to me. I'm glad that it worked that way for you.
yeah.
Um, we can theoretically share more good memories if we'd like, or if we're ready to move to step 4, we can close out de-rolling by writing a note.
I think for a couple of reasons. I mean, all of these sort of bleed together, right? In some ways, right, the most intense could be the best, could be the worst, could be the. So I'm
100%.
happy to move on to the mechanics of writing a note.
Perfect. As a last step of this procedure, write a note. Instead of writing the note as if it were from an in-game character to another in-game character, consider what you would write on a hidden note to give a future finder a glimmer of hope and connection. So what we'll do here is you can write that. I can write that because I am a player at the table, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm writing this as Danny, not in character, not Big
Mm-hmm.
Brother, not anybody else. We can share it afterwards. We could put the text up or in the maybe up would be the way to do it, right?
Sure.
To put it up on screen
Yeah.
after this. One attributed to you, one
Mm-hmm.
attributed to me, or if we decide we could keep the two anonymous and nobody needs to know which one was written by you, which one was written by me. Um, with that, I believe we're done for this session. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you, Alex, for everything. I look forward to reading your note and sharing mine with you. And I hope that everybody watching this stays safe, has a better day in a better place than Alex or Roberta, even Charles, or sorry, not Alex, David
David.
or
Sorry.
Roberta
Yeah,
or Charles. Because hopefully you've had a good day,
I
Alex.
did.
But good. Uh, I hope you have a better day, everybody. And I hope to see you again soon, be it in this world, joining us for the rest of what we are going to be doing here with David and those around him, or in the main campaign, or in anything else that we do here. You're welcome. Come hang out with us if you'd like. We're very friendly, and there's a link somewhere to our Discord. You can come join. And you can chat with us about this, any other game you'd like. We play lots of other things. And if this is not the game for you to pick up, then pick up the one that you want to. Pick up the one that speaks to you, that feels right. Pick it up with your friends and engage with it. Play is serious and meaningful. And in a scary world, it is really important. It's important as escapism, it's important as release, but it's also important as an engine for connection and for helping us learn how we might together build a better world. Have a great day.